Looks like you're now live on YouTube.
All right. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. This is the January 12th, 2021 Architectural Review Committee meeting. In attendance, we have myself, Jason Bond, here in the room as well as Kylie Lance. And then joining us via Zoom is Ron Jones. Also in attendance, we have Kara Peterson, who's taking minutes for this, and we have looks like we have Ben Reeves and Penny Reeves who are helping with some of the telecommunication for having this on Zoom and making Zoom work. So we have one agenda item tonight, and I guess I'll keep going with introductions. We have Jared Mitchell, who is a project manager for this commercial building on pad site C of the development there along Main Street with the Macy's grocery store, Ace Hardware, and other businesses. And then we have Kristen Voros, who is the architect for this this project. So I think that's everybody. So we'll go ahead and get started. We have a Ron, we have a materials board in here that we'll show you here in a second, but maybe
Okay.
Let's see if I can get this all to work. See if I can share a screen so we can put the project up for everybody to see.
I have my copy up that you emailed us.
Okay. All right. Can you see that, Jared?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And I'll move this around as needed, but so this is a building pad site C, which is right along Main Street, but this particular pad site is directly west of the designated right turn in lane on 500 East. In fact, I should have. Okay, if I get rid of that. Oh, now we got something else in my way. So there's the pad site C. There's that designated turn in from Main Street. There's proposed to be 3 tenants in this commercial building. You know, we had you on DRC earlier today, Jared. Are you good with share? Are you okay to share with us who those tenants are? We've never been formally told, but
yeah, there and I don't have specific names on all of them. The middle tenant is still vacant. It's still to be determined.
okay.
On the small tenant to your right is that is a fast food pizza.
Okay.
Which is I believe it's Little Caesars, and I think that's okay to say.
Okay.
I will ask for forgiveness later. And then this will be a dentist's office, and I don't know the name of the dental office.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So, anyways, commercial building with 3 tenants. As you can see, this is a landscaping plan, which we can look at a little bit closer, but maybe getting to the architectural plans. Let me go back. Sorry, I gotta bounce around because I got so many things on my screen here. So maybe Jared, go ahead and take us through the building design and kind of what your vision is for it, or maybe Kristen if you want her to do that.
Yeah, I can kick it off. So obviously what you're seeing here is similar to what is behind it or facing it, I guess we'll say, with what we just developed this last year with the Macy's and the Ace Hardware building. Tried to keep obviously we want synergy, within that development. CJM development, it's the same developer from the grocery store to these out parcel buildings, and so trying to keep synergy within the complex, and obviously something that is complementary to the surrounding area. So what we've got here, you've got a mix of kind of woods, board and bat design, along with some brick and some integral color cinder block. which as well as on the retaining wall that goes between this building and Main Street. I believe it's roughly a 4-foot high retaining wall at its max height, give or take. I don't know exactly the dimensions of it, but that would be a similar block that would be integral color to once again be complementary to the overall development.
So maybe just to make sure we're on the same page here, I guess just with the cinder block, you got a split face block. The more red block, that's what's going to be on the building, correct?
Hey,
So-
Jason, Jason, could you unshare your screen so that they can see you better
Yep.
with your display?
Yep, you're right. Sorry. Okay, can you see that better?
Yep.
So there's not any CMU on the building. That's the color board that we prepared for the grocery store. So the materials that you'll see on the grocery store are the board and batten siding, which is in the middle on the bottom. So that will be at sort of the main entry points that are sort of the taller pieces that are popped up. And it'll be a board and batten similar to what the grocery store and the Ace entry have. In between those on the upper band, you will have that same siding, but instead of a board and batten, it will be a lap siding. So just the same color siding, just a different style. The base of the building is going to be that red brick, which is in the middle row in the middle. Yep, that's the one. So that will be at the base of the building and then on sort of the decorative piers that are coming up a little bit higher. The right above that, you have the precast concrete. That will basically just be a little strip at each window to create a window sill where we have windows that don't go all the way to the ground.
Okay.
The very top color is the aluminum storefront. So that will be the window system. And then also the color of the standing seam canopies will match that. And then the 3 colors on the left side of the board, those are your IFAS colors. And so if you see there's 3A, 3B, and 3C, once we pull the elevation up, you can see where we've got labeled 3A, 3B, and 3C to give sort of contrast between the areas where we have the IFAS.
Okay, and maybe explain the block here. Obviously, it's probably going to be the retaining wall. Which color are you going with? Or are you going to use a combination of all 3?
It will be close to the middle color.
Okay. And what do these other 2 colors represent?
They're from the grocery store.
Okay, so that's just to give us a kind of a comparison so we can see how they look together.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Okay, and sorry, Ron, I know colors sometimes
No,
are hard to
no,
tell
it's
over
No, that's
Zoom.
fine. No,
Okay.
it looks pretty good. It looks good. I
So let
was
me-
just curious, on top of the brick wainscot, there's like a cap
Yep.
between that and the ephes. Is that one of these colors? Is that an ephes cap?
Yeah, let's pull up that colored rendering. I can't remember if we did it. Yeah, so it would be the 3B color. So it's that middle color, that middle tone color. So it'd be an IFAS foam pop out of the mid-tone. And then the color up above that, the lighter color, that's the 3A,
Okay.
which is the top color. And then that darkest color is that band, yep, right there. And then also at the coping, the very top.
Okay.
Okay.
And these are
So-
the exact same EFS colors that were used on the grocery store in the Ace.
Okay, well, and I guess that's a question that I have is obviously, Jared, you being the one who was a big part of the grocery store, those are the exact same colors?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, because I have a color sample that we actually used, we got from the superintendent for the grocery store and used that for the clock tower in the plaza. And, I have that color sample here, and it's a little bit darker, a little bit different than the darkest tone that you have. And it's maybe a little bit more gray than it is. The other one's kind of a green or got more brownish hues to it. I guess if that's exactly what's on the grocery store, I'm good with that. But I was just going to bring up that maybe we try and match that color so that it looks good. Or I don't know, maybe having just a very subtle variety adds a little bit of interest and it's not too matchy. I don't know, Ron or Kylie, if you have a strong feeling.
What did Ron email you?
No, I think they look good. I
Okay.
have no problem with the colors.
And you good with that, Kylie?
What's this one
Okay, so I think color-wise, it looks like everything looks pretty good, and we appreciate you guys working to be consistent with the grocery store. Obviously,
Yes.
having that consistency really creates a great look and feel for that whole development, and we'll continue to look for this type of a thing with future architectural design on the other buildings that will be built on the site. Any questions or concerns on the colors before we kind of move on? So Ron, would you like me to pull up your email?
Yes, yes, we could.
Okay, let's do
And-
that
and-
next.
And, I bring this up more as a discussion amongst the committee than I'm not using it to say there's something wrong with this project, but I see it, there are a lot of times when you have a development like this and you have a building that faces away from the street like they have. And, in the front of the building is usually dressed up nice. It has, nice colors and materials, has windows and entrances and signs and canopies. But the backside is what seems to be forgotten about. Okay, and so this picture here, this is a picture of a building over in Spanish Fork there along 1000 North, the same street as Macy's and Costco. But this is what you see from the street. The entrances to the building are on the other side. You can see they've got some signs. They did mix up some colors, but it's all pretty flat. And then there's a lot of utilities here, the electrical panels and things like that. And, like you say, this is kind of the first one like this we have here in town. Now, this is the Chick-Fil-A in Provo, and it's right on an intersection. And it again has the entrance to the building on the other side. And the front of the building has, the other side is the front, and it has more windows and doors and so on. But I think they did a nice job here in that they still dressed up the back of the building. They didn't make it look like the back of the building. You can see where to the left where we have some windows. We have some mix of materials. They have that tall masonry panel and darker color. They, have a door. And then here to the right, they have some windows, which I think is into their kitchen, but they're windows up high. And they put canopies over those windows, the windows to the left and this window to the right. And so I thought they did a pretty good job on this for being the back of the building. One more thing on that picture.
Oh, sorry.
The Chick-fil-A picture. You see this masonry wall kind of here at the bottom. Behind that is the drive-up window, but also behind that is the electrical transformer and some of the utilities, things like that. And so I think as we start, I'm not sure how much more of this we'll have in town. But as we get buildings that develop with the face of the building away from the street, I'd like to kind of ensure that we don't get the back of the building look turned on us.
Yeah.
Now coming to these drawings here, I think they've done a pretty good job. I like this section of windows they've put here kind of to your left. So they've kind of brought an interior facade or interior look right to the back. They've got some mix of materials. They've got, on these two parts of the building that are taller on each end, they've brought brick columns kind of on the corners on up high. But as I look at I think it was the retaining wall plan. It appears this back wall is just flat. There's really no relief in it. Am I correct?
It has relief in terms of the material, where it's like I guess that's not quite the picture I was thinking, Jared.
Well, but that's
the one on the
I'm
upper one. Yes, that upper picture in the left.
To me, it doesn't have relief in the way of massing. It's all just one kind of flat wall. And I know, Jason, we have some requirements as far as that, as far as articulation and so on, but we've always been able to find ways to help them out with that. And sometimes, you know, if you look back at that elevation of the building.
And are you talking about relief on the building plane itself, not the retaining wall, but the building plane?
Right, not the retaining wall as I see it. Well, as you drive down the street, you're not even going to see it.
No, you're only going to see it when you're in the drive-through.
Exactly. Yes. So from the street, but and that's even, you know, as far as things like a power transformer and that, I don't know that you'd even see that because this building's going to be down off the hill.
And we won't have all of our electrical gear is mounted away from the building. It's not mounted onto the back or the sides of the building.
Okay.
If we pull up the site plan, I can show you where that is.
Okay. I just like to avoid having something like that picture I showed you in Spanish Fork, you know.
Yeah, we would like to avoid that too. That was not great.
So Ron, I appreciate you bringing this up. One of our other ARC members, Tim Ringer, who wasn't able to be here, he sent some comments that he had. The only comment he had was exactly what Ron just said, that the backside of the building will be the most visible from Main Street, and we want to make sure we have extra care. I agree. I think what they provided is pretty good. I think there's some articulation. I think the far ends of the building probably come out a little bit more, and the interior is kind of set in a little bit. So there's some articulation there. But I think this works out in terms of the grading there, because the need for retaining wall, all the cars that will be in that drive-through area, you probably won't even really see much of it from Main Street, because it's going to be sitting down a little bit. And really these buildings, you only see the top of them, and a lot of the landscaping will probably mask the building anyway. So
Right.
I think this is a great site to you know, they've done some good things to make it look nice, but also it's going to be buffered pretty well with landscaping between the building and Main Street.
Could I just ask, on the front elevation over the entrances and windows, there's kind of a dark gray black. Is that a shade structure? What
Yeah, it would be a standing seam metal awning. So each entrance would have one that projects out at a 45-degree angle about 3 feet.
About 3 feet. Okay, that's good. That helps with this articulation.
Would it be possible? And there is it's hard to tell on the elevation, but there is a difference in the plane between the siding and the IFAS. So, well, yes, and the brick sort of area pops out. So the taller area with the entrance, that pops out. But then also, like, on this front entry to the left, you've got those 3 entrances. Between the light color, the 3A stucco, and then the siding above, there is like a 6-inch difference between those planes.
Okay.
So there is some sort of variation. It's hard to see it in the flat elevation.
Okay. Well, let me ask this: these shade structures you have, is it possible to put one of those over the windows on the south elevation?
Right here.
Or
yes.
Concerned about that interfering with trucks driving through there?
Well, if they're driving through there, they're going to have to pass through the awning underneath the drive-up window. So if they don't make it past that, they won't make it past the other one. So I'm and I guess maybe that's a good warning that they should back out before they get too far. But I mean, that's an easy thing to do, and I'm not at all opposed to that. Do you have any concerns with that, Jared?
I don't know. It's I don't have an issue with that.
I just think it would help a little bit with the, you know, the 3-dimensional, you know, kind of articulation along that elevation.
Okay, yeah, we can look to integrate that.
Yeah.
The dentist's office may appreciate that, you know, on the, because they'll have sun coming across there too. So
yeah, that's true. That will help.
So that's the dentist's office there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is on the south side of the building, so it probably would, you know, be a benefit to them to shade the sun. So anyway.
Okay. Well, let's see. I'm just trying to So this dentist office that's on the end of the building, those windows are going to be with that, or the dentist office is taking the middle?
No, they're taking the one on the left. So if you go back to those elevations, that window that we're talking about on the south elevation, that will look into their space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that line may be, that line on the other page may be just a little bit off.
Okay. That's what I was confused about, but I'll take your word for it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is off because the dentist space is quite large. I believe the dentist space takes up.
Yeah, originally
it takes up more than that.
Yeah, originally it was going to be a smaller space, and they took on more space than originally was discussed. And
okay, that makes sense.
Probably we probably just didn't update that line. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the landscaping. So Kylie asked how far are they landscaping. Here's the landscaping plan. The pad site's just this area. The pad site B will be here in between the plaza and this retail building. So everything you see kind of in here is what will be landscaped. The city already has some landscaping along Main Street. They'll be adding some trees and some looks like some more shrubs and flowers and stuff. So yeah, that drive-through is this is a great spot for a drive-through because you won't even really be able to see many cars in the drive-through. So
Right.
Except for maybe the tops of the cars and kind of the upper half of the building. So yeah, I really like the plan that they have here. I feel really good about what they've provided. And I guess with that, does anybody have any questions? I should mention we have Ryan Harris here, and he was a big part of doing the architectural review. Do you have anything that else needs to be brought up? No. So Ryan's good. Do you have any other questions, Ron or Kylie, about what you've seen?
No, I'm good.
Is the place gonna have a dumpster?
Sorry, let's go back.
Is that even something that we need to talk about?
I mean, we covered that at the site plan. I think the dumpster, that was a really tough thing for them to know where to locate it.
Yeah.
It ended up being right there because that's kind of the only spot where a truck could feasibly come in and take it. So I don't know as if there's much options there. This might be a little bit off because they updated the site plan and I think they shifted it down a little bit and worked with the radius so that well, it's still oriented like that, but their landscaping comes out a little bit more and they'll have a little bit more buffer on three sides of the dumpster. So it'll be like a lot of dumpsters you see where they got the big metal gates that swing out. So
Yeah, I was going to ask, what are the gates? I hope they're not chain link. Are they?
No, typically they're going to be they're going to be a completely obscure
Good.
something that hides the dumpster there. So
Yeah,
so it's not visible. So
kind of a painted B deck or something like that.
correct. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's painted B deck.
And to address the question on the dumpster location there, that was a one of the points in the comments that we went back and forth on trying to Jason's point, find the best solution for the dumpster. One of the recommendations was to have a shared dumpster between pad B and pad C. And we looked into that every way we could possibly think of to make that work. And it was shrinking the building size on pad B, the potential building size, I guess. And some of the uses, it limits some of the uses that can be able to come in and use that, because some of the tenants require more of the national tenants require their own dumpster locations. And so for that reason, we steered away from a shared dumpster option. And we felt that this gave it took the dumpster away from Main Street as much as possible and tried to, I don't think that we want to be looking at a dumpster from Main Street if we can avoid it.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like it worked, answered the most question marks possible by going into this location.
Okay.
Certainly, might not have hit all of them, but it seemed like the lesser of two evils.
Yeah. Are the enclosure itself, is it built out of split face CMU?
Yes, it is. It would be that middle color on the color board.
Okay, good.
The,
Yeah.
the color the lighter color, yeah.
That'll match that retaining wall. Yep.
Okay.
Well, let me just say this. I appreciate Jared and Kristen and kind of thinking about retail pads B and kind of how this all relates to it. Obviously, that's not happening yet, and we haven't seen any drawings or proposals there. But maybe this is a good time just to bring up. We would love for you to continue to think about how all these different buildings work together, and for pad site B particularly, Kristen and Jared, if you're a part of that, we would just love to see the architectural character of that and kind of the design of that really embrace the plaza. Maybe some outdoor seating that kind of is adjacent to that, just to really embrace the open the outdoor open space that's there. That's obviously not a part of tonight's meeting, but with you guys being a part of all the work that's being done on this site, I just reiterate that to think of how these buildings relate to what's around them. So we appreciate your thinking about that.
Absolutely.
Hey, Kylie, do you have any other questions? Anything more we need to say? Okay, I'll look for a motion.
I guess I'll make it. I move that we approve this, what do we call it? What's the name of the project?
I'd call it the architectural renderings for pad site C
Okay.
of the commercial building.
Pad
located-
site C. Okay, the architectural renderings, and I'll add the color selections, materials for the pad site C here at the, what is that? The Ridley's retail pad C. But with the provision that we have a shade structure, shade canopy over the windows on the south side, and that's it.
Okay, we have a motion by Ron Jones and Kylie Lance seconded it. Any questions on the motion or any more discussion that needs to be had? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed be nay. Well, we all said aye, so there's no nays. So that motion was approved unanimously. And Jared and Kristen, again, thank you. We appreciate the good work that you did on this and the attention to detail and making this a very cohesive development site with good architectural materials and form. So we look forward to working with you again in the future. Hopefully we will. And again, we just would reiterate, we'd love to have you consider the next buildings around the plaza to really be done in a way to embrace that and to kind of think of that as you move forward with maybe those, if you guys happen to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And appreciate everybody's time tonight. We've done a lot of work with Santaquin City over the last year and a half, and it's been a joy, and we're looking forward to plenty more in the future. So.
Well, great. Well,
Great.
we're glad to have you here.
Yeah. And I guess as a side note, you're on the agenda for the planning commission tonight related to parking.
Yeah.
So you should have that Zoom link, and the planning commission is ready, and they'll look at that closer with you tonight. So okay, I guess with that said, let me. Sorry, bear with me a little bit. Where is my Zoom? I'm just going to disconnect that. Let me stop sharing. And Jared and Kristen, you're happy to take off. We're just going to probably look at some minutes that need to be approved.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
I would ask Kara, but I don't think she's got a microphone. But I think if I go find the agenda.
Lisa, of course.
Yeah, I know we have some minutes. Let me make sure that I got the date right.
Kara has put in the chat July 29th, 2020.
Perfect, thank you. I just had gotten to where I pulled it up. So yeah, we have meeting minutes from July 29th, 2020 that need to be approved.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from July 29th, 2020.
Okay, we have a motion by Kylie. Ron, do you second that?
Yes, I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, be aye. Aye. Okay, those minutes are approved, and I guess that's all we had tonight. Ron, Kylie, thanks for being here, and we'll look forward to other buildings moving forward for our review.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.